Good afternoon everyone and welcome to Malta. We are here because this is one of Lufthansa Technik's bases. Therefore this would be a very good place to do a 330 delivery flight in some lovely Lufthansa colours. I just get back. There we go. So we are parked at the Lufthansa Technik area. And we've got this lovely 330. This is the JARDesign A330. Now, I did start recording this flight yesterday. Something went terribly wrong, I don't know what, and the recording is basically gone. So we're going to start again. However, there are a few things I messed up on yesterday that I can now correct. So, without further ado, let's crack on. Right, first thing we need to do, get some battery power on. Of course, always good. I will say now, I'm going to make a few mistakes the same as I did yesterday. That's because some of this stuff it's got a completely different way of controlling it. Different to most of the other aircraft I fly. So for example, that you can't use a scroll wheel on there. Instead you have to click with the left mouse button and turn it manually. Right. So if we just go into the MCU menu, get the ground handling up, we can request a GPU. We don't need, we'll need forward stairs. We do not need a loader, and we're going to need some fuel. Let's drive up. Okay, that will come on. It's just a little bit weird, it takes a little bit of time. I'm not quite sure why. We seem to have emergency services as well. Let's just go back to this menu again. Yeah, okay, that's quite odd, isn't it? So if we go to ground handling, I should not have, move that out of the way. I should not have an ambulance. We'll get rid of the ambulance. Is there a second ambulance? Basically, let's hide all of this. Hide. I don't... Why have I got so many things? This is really weird. Okay, anyway. Let's hide everything. Drive away, hide. Oh my goodness. Right, let's try that again. Maybe it doesn't interact from this menu as well as it does from the ground handling menu, because on the ground handling menu I can say 1 GPU, stairway 1, and fuel. And if we go outside, yeah, that's perfect, that's what we wanted. Okay, now down to here. If we go back, load and fuel, we get this lovely little thing pop up here. Now, flight number I have not filled in yet because I've not initialized. However, weights. You can't see my weights, but it doesn't matter too much. Cargo. Cabin, we have... Oh my goodness, do I have to... Oh, I have to spam the button. Okay. Apologies. We're now finished spamming to get rid of the passengers. So that we don't drain all of our fuel, let's get an external power connection. Perfect. That should start bringing things to life on here. Which means we can now put the nav on. There we go. You see what I mean? You have to drag and it's a bit fiddly. Okay. Oh, I did the same thing again as yesterday. I put them all on the wrong order. There we go. Right, so I need to have a zero fuel weight of 132,585. So I do need to take a little bit of this stuff off. We are currently a little bit too far forward. Right, I will adjust these weights and get to the correct 0 fuel weight. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, as for fuel, I move this. Pre-selected fuel was 0, apparently. How do I increase that? Oh god, that's going to take forever. So actually, we won't use that. We will just program in here. Fuel should be 15.27. So again, I'll spam this. Okay, that's sorted. So now, if I close that down, we can now tell the blah blah blah. We can tell the stairway to go and the fuel to go. I'm assuming it will now go. Yes, it has. Good. Not quite sure why that's like this though. Hopefully that will vanish on its own as well. So doors. Let's close all the doors. And there's nothing else in here that we need to modify, I don't think. No. So now, initialization page. If we go back into inside, we are LMML2 EDDM company route plan. That is correct. Flight number is DLH9721. That's a fictitious flight that I've made up. I don't know if there is a real one. Cost index is 70. That's what Lufthansa fly these as. And flight level is going to be flight level 400. So, align the IRS. Done. That will be ready in 8 minutes. Now this is quite nice. If I click, it just automatically fills. It's perfect. Now, seriously, how do I get rid of this? Maybe if I call... Uh-oh. I think I just removed the GPU. I did. Let's get the GPU back. Whoops. Okay, it's back. Good. I do not know why this fuel truck is doing that. Now, what happens if I do that? Okay, that's now finished. Fuel truck is done. So if I say fuel finished, yeah. Ah, there we go. So that was the problem. Okay, back into the cockpit. We've got a while for the IRS to align, so that block fuel, we'll just update it. There we go. Flight plan page. We are going to be taking off from runway 5, I believe. Yep, runway 5. I'm just going to close this down because it's a terrible view. There we go, that's better. You can now see what I'm doing. So, I'm going to be using GZO3A. Yes. We'll stick that in. Okay. EDDM. We're expecting to arrive on runway 26 left, which will be an ILS, using the star Koga 4A. There we go. Now we'll just have a quick check in here for any sections that look wrong, but that looks okay so far. So performance, V1, VR, V2, yes. Flaps and trim should be 1. That's fine for us as well. Take off flags, can't put anything in the shift. Transition altitude is correct. Alright, so that is that set up. Next thing, APU. Now, I messed around with this yesterday and I couldn't get the APU on. Turns out you have to press this. You have to actually put the APU battery on first. And then now that's on, I can flick the master switch and we'll get the flap open sign. Unfortunately, the flap doesn't actually open on this model. It would be nice if it did, but can't have everything. Flap is open. Okay, so start that. And we'll just let that power up and wait for the iOS to align, and then we can get going. iOS is almost aligned, and the APU is available, so APU bleed on. We can now turn the external power off, which means I can come into here, tell the GPU to go away. There we go. So no GPU anymore, that's fine. I've pre-planned the pushback, so we're ready for that. What else do we need to do? So radio on, that'd be good. We are not going to put those out just yet. The TCAS, we don't need to. We can select a random number. Okay, 3355 is today's random number. iOS is ready. Okay, so let's get this up to 40,000 because I don't think we have any constraints on the way. No, no constraints. So 40,000 straight off, that's fine. Pumps, we'll put those on before pushback. And anything else we need to do? I don't believe so. Oh, signs, yes. Obviously we don't have any passengers, but we still need to put them on. So, yeah. I think everything is okay. So let's request our pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
And tow will drive through the building, of course, because that's how it normally works. There we go. So we're basically going to push back to here, and then we're going to have to turn onto the runway because these taxiways are not big enough for a plane of this size, nowhere near. So we have to taxi down the runway and turn, but that's not a big deal. We can manage that. We can cope.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Go for it, buddy. I should check what the weather is. So 10-12 millibars is the correct value. Now, something that is a little bit annoying. You can't have something different on each screen. You can only have the same thing on each screen, which is kind of annoying, but there we go. The same with this, actually. If I change this, both change.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Okay.
Park brake off.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Okay, beacon on. Engine to ignition.
Starting engine 1.
And engine 1 is spooling up. Yeah, it's a bit annoying because I like to have different things on both screens at certain times of the flight, like takeoff, but I can't. That's just something that they've put into this model, or haven't put into this model, but it's okay. So we'll just wait for that to come alive. I think we'll do a single engine taxi. I'm going to give it a go. I don't very often do it. Oh yeah, we'll give it a go. So, flaps. We can do that once we've stopped in a moment. Or in fact, we can do it now. Let's do it now. So, auto brake to max.
Flaps 2, flaps full, flaps 0,
What?
flaps 1,
That was odd. Spoilers. Now, you can't control the spoilers in this. You have to use the keys,
spoilers half,
which is the 3 and 4
spoilers
keys.
retracted,
So when it's in retracted, you press 3,
spoilers arm,
and it arms the spoilers. That's a bit annoying as well, because I have a hotkey, but my hotkey just extends them fully, which is not what I want. Okay, how are we doing? We should miss that lamppost. That was the plan. I pre-planned it so that we would be right against the lamppost, but not touching it. So we'll have to see if that has actually worked. I really hope so. Oh, look at that. That was perfect.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Okay.
park brake on,
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
So, we'll let him disconnect, and then, yeah, we can start taxiing. Right, he's disconnected, and we've got our hand signal. So, we can now get going. Now, I'm not going to set rudder trim. Instead, I'm going to try and do this manually. I'm going to see how it goes. So, yep, that should be fine. Parking brake
park brake off,
Now we're going to have to give it a little bit of extra power. Of course, this guy does not really... This is a big plane to be using. Single engine taxi. But it can do it. It is perfectly capable of doing it. See? Not a problem. We are blasting that small plane behind us, however. Probably not the best idea. But this is a very tight turning space, really, isn't it? Maybe you'd have to be pushed back onto the runway. Seems a big thing to push back all the way onto the runway. A big effort. A bit more power on. And we're coming back round. Good. Okay. So we'll put the strobes on because we're on the runway. May as well put the landing lights on as well, to be honest. We don't need taxi or takeoff lights though, I don't think. We can now leave the APU bleed on, and we'll start the other engine when we get down to the end. Oh, wow. What's going on here? That was not good. Oh, the brakes are hot. That's why. So we're not really supposed to go down this way. Why will it not go to the wheel page? Odd. Okay. Let's put the parking brakes on. We'll start the second engine then.
Starting engine 2.
This is not exactly going as I was hoping for, but anyway. So yeah, the brakes were a bit hot, which is odd. Not sure why they're so hot. I'm not sure. Ah, there we go. Now we can see wheels. Oh, okay. The brake temperatures are really hot. And why is that? It's only 15 degrees outside. Okay. Maybe it's just because it doesn't like dealing with single engines. Anyway. AP bleed off. Master switch off. We can set this back to normal. And we'll release the parking brakes again.
Park brake off.
Just have to keep an eye on those temperatures. Why is this plane trying to spin across to the right? It's very odd. The nose gear appears to be playing a little bit of a game. Not quite sure what it's doing there. Maybe we damaged it. I hope not. So we're going for a bit of an excursion here. Okay. It seems to be better. I think that we did possibly damage the nose gear when we went off the runway. I'm not sure. Or perhaps it's because I set the steering tiller accidentally. That would explain it. Right, back to normal. Okay, so full up, full down, full left, full right, full up. So we're going to have to use this area here for turning, which is going to be quite tricky. So I think we're going to have to do it from the outside view. Basically, this airport is not set up at all for big planes, it seems. And I'm not doing very well at steering it. Okay. Let's put the parking brakes
Park brake on.
And let's just do a final check that everything's on. So we'll put the chronometer on. Yep. Everything else, you need to go to TRA. You need to go to above. There we go. Yeah, I think we're good. Temperatures are a little high in case we have to reject, but it's unlikely we're going to be rejecting anyway, so not an issue. Right, in that case, let's get the engines up to 50%. Parking brake released.
Park brake off. Power set.
We'll take off at flex. We don't need to be running at toga for no reason. And I am ready.
100 knots.
100.
V1.
Rotate. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Pull the lever back for climb. There we go. I think we'll stick with a 10-degree angle. That should be fine. Right.
Flaps 0.
The flaps up. And there we go. We are on our way out from Malta. So we will complete the turn.
Spoilers disarm.
We'll complete the turn manually. There is no need to use autopilot yet, but what we will do,
Standard Vero crosscheck.
It's
Passing
standardized,
flight
okay.
level 053.
yeah. Apologies, I'm not actually talking very much. It's because I was focusing a little bit on the flying side of things. But, yeah. We are now on our way. I think we'll climb to 10,000. And once we're at 10,000, I will hand over to autopilot. Lovely day though. and this flight is going to take around 2.5 hours. So I'm obviously not going to do the entire flight with you. Instead, we'll have a look at the takeoff and taxi on replay, and I will continue to Munich, where we will, of course, be leaving this lovely plane so it can continue its work as a Lufthansa aircraft. Okay, just about to pass 10,000, so
Autopilot 1, cross-check.
as he said, autopilot 1 cross-check. Landing lights off, seatbelt signs off, and yeah, enjoy the replays. I'll see you when it's closer to landing time. So, approaching 10,000 feet, and we are on track for our descent. One quick thing. In the Airbus aircraft, you always have to manage speed and descent rate. You have to trade them off against each other. However, I started descending too late. I missed my top of descent point. And when I told this guy to descend, he dropped like a stone. He tried to descend at 9,000 feet per minute. And of course that went into an overspeed. Now, normally, in any Airbus aircraft, it would detect an overspeed and it would change the descent rate, and it would basically go at the maximum possible. Usually in that case I would give it some spoilers just to try and help him get the descent rate down. But yeah, this 330 seems to not care about that, and it just drops like a stone for no particular reason, which isn't good, not at all. But anyway, we are on our way. Something I didn't show you before is this. So I can choose the departure or the arrival airport. I can hit update, and there we go. I've now got the latest METAR for the airport, which is good. It's quite handy for things like this, preparing the descent page. It'd be nice if this was in some of the other aircraft, to be perfectly honest. So, temperature is 08. Wind is currently 350 at 6. We are still landing on runway 8. I'm going to stick with that. It should be fine. Transition altitude is 5,000, yes. Decision height, I am not sure. I will have to check that in a second. But we can see variable wind 300 to 20, greater than 10 nautical miles visibility, few clouds at 2,500 feet, overcast at 4,000 feet, no significant weather. And the dew point is -01. We will get an updated one soon, because they're usually updated every half an hour, so that'll be around 16:20 we'll get an updated version. So if I update now, maybe we'll get one. No, not yet, so we need to wait a couple of minutes. That's fine, we can manage that. And I will check the decision height. It's usually around 100 feet. So I'll check that. Everything else is looking good. Got plenty of fuel. Still transferring fuel. I forgot to put both of the left tank pumps on, so that's why we're a little bit out. Plus I did a single engine taxi. Obviously that's made a difference as well. So I will have a quick check, find the decision height, while we continue on our approach. Okay, so I found the decision height. It is 200, so that's now been put in. So we can see our approach speeds here. Landing speed is going to be 121, approach is going to be 126. Excuse the background noise, That's a kitten playing with a bag. We are now getting very close to our very close to our final altitude. There is an altitude constraint of 5,000. I'm really hoping that this guy is not going to drop down to 2,700 completely, and he's going to recognize the constraint and stick with it. Because if I show you, oh, I'm sorry, she is really noisy today. Here we go, constraint at 50. So it should pick up on the fact that there's a constraint at 50, but who knows, to be honest. I think now is probably a good time to put the seatbelt signs on. We'll have a last minute check of everything. So pressurization, I was messing around with it. I think it's better, to go with auto. This is something I've noticed, these dials aren't working. I don't know if there's a planned update for the system. There's also a strange texture here, a little bit of glimmering. If I move across, do I still see the same thing? Yeah, so it's glimmering here and it's glimmering there. Interesting. Anyway, so these don't work, which is a shame, but we can live with it. If we go for the pressurization, that was what we were already on. Why am I checking that? Oh no. I've done that before. There we go. Yeah, I have already done that once this flight. Ah, it picked up the altitude constraint. Perfect. Right, conditioning. That was what I wanted to check. So 19 degrees all over. I think that should be fine. We can probably now get an updated... Here we go. We can. So let's get into here. Hopefully you can see that. It's not on the best angle. There we go. That's better. So if we go back to the performance page, we can check again. So it's still 1017. Temperature is still 8. Dew point is -2 now, which means we probably don't need anti-ice on just yet, but we will do soon. Wind at the moment is 340 at 7. So 340 at 7. Decision altitude minimum is 1517. That's fine. Decision height is 200. The weather hasn't changed, to be honest, not that much. And the airport should, there it is, right there. So if we just spin ourselves around, there is Munich Airport. Perfect. We are close to our final point now. You can see the deceleration point over here. Not quite sure why these go transparent. It's a little bit annoying, to be honest. But there we go. So I'm thinking that I'm going to actually set the speed to manual myself and activate the approach phase. So if you don't know what this does, it basically tells the aircraft...
Approach phase activated.
There we go. It tells the aircraft that we should start descending to the speed so that we can get the flaps, slats, gear, all that kind of stuff out. But if you program a manual speed first, then what it does is make sure that you don't immediately start dropping speed. It's already trying to do it here for some reason, because we've got a bit of a side wind by the looks of it. Crosswind, as it's more commonly called. Don't know why I called it a side wind, to be honest. But yeah, we are almost there. I'm happy with how things are going so far, to be honest. And I'm going to be honest, X-Vision is the best purchase I have ever made. It doesn't matter how bad the plane is, it still looks fantastic, and so does everything around it. using it with reshade as well makes it even better. Everything is just unbelievable. I show you in here, I believe it's this. You see the difference with reshade on and off? Come on, turn back on. There we go. It's just awesome, to be perfectly honest. Right, so we're going to get our speed down. What is our first speed? 190. So we'll start dropping. So we'll go to 220 to start with. And, oh yeah, we should be standardizing to 1017. There we go. So of course we are slowing down before our descent point, but I prefer to have the extra time because this is the first time I've landed the 330. I'd rather have the extra time to do this kind of stuff, to be honest. Now, one of these should say wheel. There we go. Just trying to click it without actually causing any damage to it, without turning the throttle off again. So let's dial this guy down to 10. We can put the landing system on, although we know that we're miles off track at the moment anyway. And I can open up Avitab, and we can see that we are currently not on the localizer path, but we will be when we get to Magat. So we can put the localizer on. Oh no, sorry, the localizer is not until D3.9, so we could put it on early just to make sure we capture it. Not a big deal. And there we go. And now we can see that we're below the path at the moment. We'll keep the speed on 220 for now. The airport, I will drop down. There's the airport over there. You can see it in the distance. So we're looking good at the moment. And I think now would be a good time to start slowing down to 190. Which you can also see as our green dot speed. And put the localizer on as well, although I'm not expecting to capture it just yet anyway. And I think we'll change to landing mode. This is where it would be nice to have it on two different screens, two separate things, but you can't have everything in life. I think we're going to be landing quite a large crosswind here, but we're landing on auto land, so it should be fine. It shouldn't be a big deal. And you can see the diamond dropping because we're getting closer and closer to the actual position. So I think we can now go down to our second speed, which is 154. We have just picked up the localizer, perfect. And we will
Flaps 1.
put the flaps down to 1, as he just quite rightly said. Right, turning for the localizer, put the approach on as well, see if we can get the glide slope. We have got the glide slope, perfect. So now I will put the speed into managed mode. So put one more level down. Now to me it looks like we're off course. He seems to think that we're still okay. I thought that was the runway, but obviously it's this bit here. Yes, that's the runway. I thought that was, because it's such a large structure. Okay, flaps on 2. So we can now go down to flaps 3.
Flaps 3.
And I don't know why I can't find a tick for this. It's really weird. There's no click spot for the landing gear. Nothing. So, luckily,
Gear down.
I have something that will do the job.
Radio altimeter alive.
2,500.
Okay. And final.
Flaps full.
We'll put the second autopilot on.
Autopilot 2. Cross check.
And this is it. This is us looking good. Landing lights are on. Seatbelt lights are on. This is our landing checklist over here. Cabin crew advised. Okay. I don't know how to advise the cabin crew. I don't have anything up here I can press. So I'll just kind of hope that they work out what's going on. Right, spoilers need to be armed, so as I said before, number
Spoilers
3.
armed.
That was a revelation for me, to be honest, when I found out that the keyboard standard numbers, not the numpad numbers, but 3 and 4 control the spoilers in the aircraft. It works on all aircraft, not just this one. So this is where my lovely views come in handy. Look at that. Oh look. The flaps have got numbers on them for some reason. Don't really know why, but they do. Screenshot. Lufthansa aircraft returning from maintenance to home base. What a sight. This is a long approach into Munich, I must say. Because, yeah. We've got a really long
1,000.
really long approach. It started at 5,000 feet, went down to 2,700 to capture the glide slope and the ILS, and then we spent a couple of miles on approach speed.
Need to check, sir, if everything is okay with the lights.
I don't know why they keep saying that. Yes, everything's fine with the lights. Why are they asking me about the lights? Really weird.
500.
The lights are all good. I don't know what he's on about. Landing lights are on.
400.
We wouldn't normally have these on for landing, so...
Land green check.
Okay, land green checked, as he said.
300. 100 above.
So
Minimum.
I am ready. Clear. Auto land, you can see, is on.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. Retard. 5.
Ground spoilers.
So reverse
screen.
thrust. So that's the reversed thrusters on.
70 knots. Reverse green.
Okay. And I think we'll take this exit here. Oh, look at that. We're getting an applause. Lovely. Not that we did anything. The plane did everything for us, but to be honest. Right. Landing lights off.
Check, sir, if everything is okay with the light.
I wish he wouldn't keep asking that. Right, APU battery. APU master switch and start. Now I'm not quite sure where we should be parking. So we'll get Avitab up. Obviously we're turning left. But yes, airport. So I honestly have no clue where we should be parking. We need a bit more thrust apparently. That's the taxi chart, don't think that's going to help. No. Parking stands west because we're about to be heading west direction. So that's the apron, cargo. That is Terminal 1, okay. We go back here and go to the airport. So Terminal 1 is down here. Okay, so we can continue on this route for now. I'll leave that up. APU is now available, perfect. This guy can be turned off. Anything else? Can we turn anything else off? Landing system and flight director can come off. They're not needed anymore. Seatbelt signs will stay on for now. Packs can go to low. Ooh. Okay. I turned the cargo air off earlier because it just wasn't required at all, to be honest. I think Terminal 1 is going to be good for larger aircraft because if you look at the spacing between the jetways there, it looks to be much bigger than the ones here. Come on. And we've landed with plenty of fuel, so a long taxi is not a big issue. Let me close that down. Oh yeah.
Flaps 2, flaps 0.
Pull the flaps up. And yeah.
Spoilers retracted.
Thank you. So where are we turning? Must be somewhere soon. Yes, I would say this next one should be where we're turning. I'm finding it very difficult to stick to the centre line here. Don't know why. But then again, I'm not using real rudder pedals. I am using my G27 rudder pedals. So yeah, so I think over there difficult to see because I'm putting Avatar in the way. I'll put it down this corner actually, a little bit better. Ah yeah, and these are some nice Some nice big areas for taxi. So I think we will pick stand 103 because you know what? I have no real reason why. Okay, we're a little bit off. And now we're miles off because I put too much pressure on one side of the brake at once. There we go. Let's get inside.
We are on the ground, sir. Are you okay? Gear down.
Yes, all good here, sir.
Park brake on.
Thank you. Right. Let's get that APU bleed on, and then we'll leave all of this stuff on for now. Engine 1, engine 2 off. Okay. So 2 hours 18 in total. That's not bad. It was estimated as 2 hours 22, so we did pretty well. This aircraft will not be leaving again today, so we're going to do a full shutdown. So beacon lights can now come off. ADIRS off, off, off. Turn off all of the pumps. The generators off as well. Engine 1 and 2 bleeds off, packs off. Hot air off. What else do we need to turn off? Basically everything. So we'll leave the galley on for now because they're going to need to get people off the plane. But once that is done, so let's seatbelt signs off. Emergency exit signs off as well. And we can come into here. We can say doors, left forward. Now I've got a feeling, just a funny feeling, that if I say connect a gate, he's not going to. No, what's that? What's a conus? Oh, it's cones. Okay, a conus is cones. Interesting. We don't need any loaders. What's the van? Okay, I'm not sure we need the van either. Or rescue. Or limousine. Wow, for the VIPs. No ambulance needed. So, okay, we're calling stairs then. And we'll call stairs for the rear. I believe that would be the rear. Don't drive through the plane. Please don't drive through the plane. Oh no. Looks like they are driving the correct way. People can obviously enter from down here though, so we don't need to be worrying about that. I shouldn't have opened the door yet, really. Right, back inside. Let's open the rear left door. Not the middle, thank you. For the cargo, we'll open all of them. It's mainly the bulk cargo door that's actually going to be used because we bought spares. That's what I bought back. So that means we're going to need to get ourselves some loaders. 1, 2, and a belt loader. Actually, belt loader's not going to be needed. It's just going to be these two big loaders. Perfect. So, everyone is getting off the plane now. Lovely jubbly. Just want to see if these guys actually do anything. Oh, look. Oh, but they're loading on, not loading off. That's a shame. Oh well. So, okay. It's looking like everything here is good. So we can now turn off the no smoking signs. We don't need any power to the aircraft anymore. So we can turn off the APU bleed and the APU master switch as well. APU generator is now off. So the power is disappearing from the aircraft. And we'll turn off the APU battery, battery 2 and battery 1. And now we should see everything vanish. Perfect. Everything has vanished. Okay. So, thank you very, very much for joining on this inaugural flight. I'm going to try and get the next delivery flights out a little bit quicker because this did take a very long time. But yes, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.